All right, looks like I'm live. So hopefully a couple of people will be able to join me. But hello, hope you're well. Hope you can hear me. If you can't hear me, please do let me know. Hope the lighting is all okay. I'll probably move that so you can see me a bit better. But yeah, thank you guys for joining me. Today it's going to be a live Q&A because we are celebrating 2 years on YouTube. So I'm very excited about that. Basically, this time on Tuesday, the 31st, is when I uploaded my first YouTube video. So it's been a long 2 years. It's been a really interesting 2 years. So I decided to do a bit of a Q&A, and especially because I didn't have a live last month as well. I feel like it was long overdue because I feel like I haven't been live for a long time. So what I'm going to do is I had a few questions on Instagram. So if you follow me on Instagram at Veronia Spain, you can always ask me questions there. But what I am going to do is I'm going to answer a few questions on Instagram. But I wanted to talk a bit about my journey, like how I started on YouTube, because I think especially if you're new here and maybe you haven't particularly, like seen my journey in terms of how I started on YouTube, I wanted to talk about, what's been going on. So a few people are joining. Welcome. So I'm just going to talk about my journey. So I basically started my YouTube channel in 2020, pretty much in the middle of the pandemic. So I uploaded my first video on the 31st of May in 2020. And I actually wanted to do YouTube for a while. So a lot of you will know that I was, paying off debt, and I had, around £16,000, $22,000 worth of debt, and I was paying it off. And I originally wanted to start my YouTube channel a lot earlier, but the reason why I didn't is because I had a lot of imposter syndrome. I felt like I didn't necessarily feel like I should be talking about, how to pay off debt because I hadn't paid off debt. In hindsight, I should have started my YouTube channel earlier because I could have at least spoke about my journey. Like I could have showed you guys, oh, this is my budget right now. This is how I'm paying off my debt. So I do wish that I started my YouTube channel earlier, but I did it in the end. God still pushed me to do it. So once I was in the process, I think, of paying off my debt, and I paid off my last debt, I think the end of May. So that was when I decided, you know what, I'm just going to start a YouTube channel. I'd been furloughed at work, so I wasn't working currently because of, the pandemic and all of that stuff. So I wasn't working. And so I decided, you know what, I was going to start my YouTube channel because I have no excuse now. I don't have work to do. I still have time. Whereas I guess before, and actually when I was paying off my debt, some of you may know, I was a lodger. I was a lodger at a family house. And so I didn't really have anywhere to film. So I decided that I was going to leave it until I actually moved to my family house. So that's what I did in the end. So now fast forward to May of 2020, obviously I decided to start my YouTube channel. And so I started doing videos every Friday. If you guys look at my first few videos, you will see that I actually started with kind of career videos. Like I was talking about, what to do if you've been made redundant, what to do if you've been furloughed. And I thought that was the direction I should go because I had like a HR background. Like I absolutely loved personal finance. I loved money management, but I felt like I still had that imposter syndrome. I didn't want to talk about money. Like I felt like, oh, do you know what? Like I feel like I don't know enough. I don't really want to talk about money. So I started talking about redundancies and furloughs and HR stuff and what to do, like if you're looking for a job, because I was like, oh, I know that's like what I do in my career. So I did a few videos, which was great, but my first video was actually to do with financial independence, and that was like what I was passionate about, right? So my first video, I did that, then went into like a more HR route, and then I decided, actually, I'm just going to pull the plug and I'm going to try a video. And I think my first personal finance video was like how to budget and save your money. So I was talking about free budgeting methods that you could do. And I was so nervous to upload that video. I was so nervous because I felt like, people are going to be like, oh, you don't know how to budget. What are you talking about? Like, you don't come from personal finance space. So I was absolutely petrified. decided to do it anyway. And that video actually got more views than the HR videos. So that video, like, it started to rank in search as well. People were searching about how to budget your money, and so my video actually came up, especially if you were in the UK. So that kind of then gave me a bit of encouragement, like confidence as well, to say, do you know what, I'm going to start talking about money. Hey, Integrated Pedagogy, thank you so much. I can't believe it's been 2 years. It's been, yeah, crazy. Great time has flown so fast. But I just wanted to talk about my journey a little bit. But yeah, essentially, I then started my budgeting videos, and then I decided I was going to talk more about my personal journey, about, how I've been able to pay off debt. And then that also fed into how I was able to save, because at that point I was saving about £1,000 a month, which is maybe about $1,500. And so I was able to do that because I didn't have things like car payments. I had, really thought about my spending. I'd done a lot of stuff. And so when I now started to do those videos, that's when I think I started to get a lot more subscribers. I had, started to get a bit of a loyal audience, which was nice. And so that was kind of my journey. And so that was back in sort of May, June, July of 2020, 2 years ago, which is crazy. And so since then, I actually started to increase how many videos I was doing. So I was doing 2 videos a week. Guys, who asked me to do 2 videos a week? Because I was probably uploading, filming, scripting, editing videos. It probably took me about at least 8 hours to do one video. So to do 2 videos was like 16 hours a week on top of my 9 to 5. It was crazy. And I started doing it because I was furloughed and didn't have work. But then when they brought me back to work, I was still doing the 2 videos a week. Like, it was actually it was a mess. Like that's why I had to drop down as well, like now, to 1 video, because it was just a mess. I couldn't do it. Congratulations, B. Oh, thank you so much, Ruby. I honestly have loved seeing your journey and growing. It also makes me it also makes me make sure to check in with myself and with your budgeting content. Oh, thank you. That's so nice to hear. Yeah. No, I love doing my budgeting videos. It always feels like, like we're budgeting together. So, it's been great. But yeah, so I've been doing 2 videos for almost like 18 months, I think. And then obviously got to the point where I was just really burnt out, and, I got married, and, we moved, and there was like a lot of like life stuff happening. And so I was like, I need a break, took a break. And now 2 years later, we are here. So I want to answer a few questions. If you do have any questions for me, honestly, it can be YouTube related, it could be money management related, it could be life related. Please do ask me. I'm here to chat with you guys for hopefully like the next maybe 45 minutes. What a milestone. I know, right? 2 years go so quick. So here's to the next 2 years. I pray by God's grace that I will be here for at least another 2 years. Yes, I do need to do more shopping videos. Guys, actually, okay, no, we'll do a quick chat about that. So with the shopping videos, I'm going to be doing more because I think it's going to be quite interesting during this time, because I basically did something where I am testing my what food I eat. So for me, I kind of get a bit, like, from a health perspective, I get very bloated sometimes. And so I'm having to eliminate some foods to figure out if that's what's basically been making me bloated, essentially. So I got a report that maybe has told me I may be quite sensitive to things like eggs. I might be sensitive to wheat as well, and I might be sensitive to a whole load of different things, to be honest. Chicken as well. I might have a moderate sensitivity to chicken, which, if you guys have seen my budgeting videos, there is probably not one video where you won't see that chicken is being bought, because that chicken is like our staple. And eggs, by the way, like, eggs and chicken are probably my 2 staple foods. Eggs I have with avocado and toast. Like, in fact, bread will probably be on every single budget, because I literally, that's all I eat. But now that, because I might be sensitive to that, it's now changing how I eat and the food that I eat. And so I'm having to start looking at gluten-free stuff, particularly because of the wheat, which obviously is more expensive, and my sister will know that because she was also had to go gluten free for a while, and so that's now going to impact, you know, our own food budget. And so I want to start doing more videos, because now I'm starting to test more gluten free stuff, which is obviously more expensive, which may then have an impact on our food budget. So I want to do more, I want to start doing a bit more videos where I kind of talk through, you know, how much we're actually spending and how that makes a difference as well. If, and because I've always said that, like, that's why I will never tell people, you know, you should spend this much on food, because if you have food intolerances, then it's going to be different to compared to someone that doesn't, right? So someone that can tolerate everything, like my husband, he'll be fine. But for someone like my sister, for example, who's lactose intolerant, it's going to be very different because she has to buy things like lactose-free milk, for example. So that has like a big impact. And so I'm interested to see how much we end up spending. Like even today, we had to go to Tesco because we're making chickpea, well, I'm making chickpea curry today. Basically because I can't eat chicken, so I'm having chickpea. So we're gonna have chickpeas for dinner, but I couldn't even buy the naan bread. I had to go to Tesco and buy gluten-free naan bread. I also had to buy gluten-free bagels today as well, and so that costed me like a fiver already just for like those two bread pieces. So yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see the difference. But I will keep you guys posted. I do definitely want to do more videos on that. Thank you so much, Faye, for saying congrats on the 2 years. Have you cooked any new recipes? Good question. I feel the chickpea curry will be new for me. I've never made chickpea curry before. My husband did make it the one time and I liked it. He didn't necessarily like it. So I've decided I'm going to try the chickpea curry and go from there. I don't know if we've made any new recipes. I mean, I have been like recently I've been making like I've tried to make Nigerian stew because my husband's from Nigeria, so I've tried to make that. I particularly like stew from my country, so will also make that. But because he's Nigerian, I decided I was going to take the plunge. So that was fairly new to me because I'd never really done it before. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else that's been new. Sometimes, though, actually, I will say that sometimes what I will do, and I think I've mentioned this in my videos, is I will literally just say, oh, if I've got sweet potatoes and if I don't want it to be like baked or something and I want to do something different, I'll literally just Google what else can I do with sweet potatoes, and then I'll try it out. And then if it's nice, I'll continue to do it. So I did buy halloumi actually. That's going to be new because I've never made halloumi fries before. So I'll let you guys know maybe on Instagram how that goes. Because I really like halloumi, and it turns out I'm not lactose intolerant like my sister, so I'm going to enjoy cheese. But yeah, anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with some of the questions that I got from Instagram. I feel like I've gone on a tangent, but I'm going to start off with some of the questions that I've got from Instagram. And then if you guys have any other questions, literally just, you know, you could just ask me. I will make sure to answer. But the first question that I had is, what do you love most about being a YouTuber? So I think the number one thing that I really like, especially with YouTube videos, is that I can be creative with how I do my YouTube videos. So some of you may or may not know, but I was a dancer. I used to do a lot of performance arts. Like I used to do drama, like back in school. I was a dance coach at university, and I was even dancing till like, I even did a dance for my wedding. So I've always loved to dance. So for me, I think because I like that kind of performance piece, sometimes I will try to put that in my videos. So sometimes you might see me do a little bit of acting. It might not be great acting, but you'll see me try to do a bit of acting because I want to make my videos a bit different. And because I love that kind of performance side, it's nice to bring that into my videos, because obviously, you know, when you're working a job, sometimes you can't be that creative. So for me to do that in my videos, I like to do that. And so that's why sometimes you won't see me all the time just sitting in one place. I like to switch and get different scenes, just because I like the idea of, you know, having different scenes and playing around with it. And I actually really like editing my videos as well. Although it is a very long process, it takes ages to edit my videos. I really enjoy sometimes like kind of figuring out, oh, should I do a transition here? What should I do here? What kind of B-roll can I do here? So that's, I think I'd say like one of the what I really like being a YouTuber. But I also, you know, like talking to you guys as well. You know, you meet so many people on the internet that you may not see in real life, and especially because if you're subscribed to like a channel like this, we kind of all have a common goal. You know, for example, we maybe want to like manage our money better. We want to be able to build wealth, become financially independent. So to meet people like that, I think is game changing, because you may not always have friends like that, or you may not have family members that kind of see, you know, see the benefits, I guess, of like, you know, dealing with your finances and things like that. So to be able to speak to people, I think it's been absolutely amazing. So yeah, it's just been a whirlwind being on YouTube, but I have enjoyed it. Apart from, you know, there's some, I will say this wasn't a question, but some of the things that I don't like about YouTube is obviously, you know, some of the comments. It's so funny because I actually had a comment the other day that basically said that I should, what did they say? They basically said that I should stick to doing makeup and not talking about like the recession. Basically telling me that, you know, because I'm a woman, that I should not be talking about finances. I should be talking about makeup. So when I see comments like that, I'm like, really? Like, is that really necessary? But then it almost kind of gives me the fire to be like, you know what? You've just convinced me to do even more videos about finances because you don't like it. So yeah, it is a bit rude, but you know, this is the internet. People can just say what's on their mind behind the screens, and no one else will know in real life. So yeah, I'd say that's probably the one thing I don't like necessarily about YouTube. But you know, it comes with the territory. For every like 50 comments, you might get one hate, like 50 amazing comments, you might get one hate comment. It's just a shame that sometimes the one hate comment is what just kind of affects your mood. So that's why I can see why a lot of, you know, creatives or people on YouTube, why it can affect their mindset and their mental health, because that one comment could literally just destroy them. So you know, you just got to be really careful with that, and it's got to be quite tough. But once you get through the haters, it's all right. You keep doing what you're doing. You keep going. So the next question is, what lessons have you learned since starting your channel that you wish you knew in the beginning? So I had to think about this actually. I would say that one of my lessons is the fact that just know that, especially if you're maybe thinking about starting a YouTube channel or like anything like that, just know that it's going to take time and a lot of work. I think that was probably the biggest lesson that maybe I didn't realize. I think you know, when you guys see like a 10-minute video, that can take me hours to make. Like, even to film it, it does not take me 10 minutes to film a video, guys. It used to take me 2 hours to film a 10-minute video. Now it takes me about an hour. So I've gotten better. I've dropped down. But because sometimes I make so many different mistakes, or I'm just not making sense, or I lose my trail of thought, I then have to think about, oh, okay, what was I saying again, and then refilm it. So it can take a while, and I think that's probably one of the biggest lessons, is just knowing that like it takes time. It's not for the faint-hearted. Like, I will definitely say that, especially Lord knows how I was doing 2 videos a week. I'm still struggling with 1 video a week, to be honest. So I don't know how I was doing 2 videos a week, but I think that's probably one of the biggest lessons that I've learned. And then I think the other lesson I would say is to really just enjoy the journey, because I think sometimes especially if you kind of look at your, like, sometimes you may go on like your YouTube analytics, like your it will show you, you know, how many views you have, how is your video performing, and all of that stuff. And it can have like a negative connotation, or it can feel a bit negative if you see like your video is not performing as well as your other video. So things like that can, you know, have an impact. So I think one of the lessons is just really enjoying the journey. So for me, I actually downloaded something. It's like what do you call it? It's like a Chrome extension on my computer, where they basically can remove all of the views. So I can't see any YouTube views on my channel. Like, even other people's videos, I can't see their views. And so it means that I'm just doing videos that really I think are going to help people and that I really enjoy, without thinking that, oh, it's going to get a whole load of views. So for me, that's made me feel a lot better, because now I'm like, okay, like I don't really care how the video performs, because I just want it to, at least if I've helped someone, like one person, then I've done my job essentially. So I'm really glad that I downloaded that, so I don't have to have that competition, because sometimes the views will get to you, you know. You'll see like this video has a whole load of views and then this video doesn't, and then you're like, oh, okay, maybe I should be doing more videos like this, even though the other video may not have as many views, but your subscribers may really enjoy it. Like my passive income report videos, I don't get a ton of views on those compared to my other videos, but then I get so many of you guys commenting saying like, this is really useful, this is great, I love like your passive income videos. So having a load of views doesn't necessarily, you know, equate to being something that's amazing. So I think just enjoying the journey, having fun with it, enjoying the editing, you know, that's also another key lesson. Yeah, it's more motivating to see someone go on their financial journey. Exactly, which is why I do wish that I started my channel earlier, especially whilst I was paying off debt. I think that would have been really great. But, you know, it's never too late to start. Yeah, one day, like I remember my goal was original goal was 25,000 subscribers. Now I honestly don't really think about it, because I'm like I'll get there when I get there, but also because I love the community that I have now, it's like anything else is a bonus. So yeah, that's yeah, I love you guys. It's been a long 2 years, but it's been amazing 2 years. How was your mental health when you left your job? It must have been stressful knowing your income is not as secure. Oh gosh, really good question. And I did do a video on this, like you know, 6 months after quitting my job, because it was like, guys, I really I like, if you guys know, I struggled. Like I really, and you could probably tell actually with some of my YouTube lives, I was really struggling. And the weird thing was, like, I the reason why I was struggling, you wouldn't necessarily think I should struggle. Like our bills, like our spending was the same, our bills were the same, like everything was the same. We had like a year's worth of expenses, and I was still struggling mentally. Like think about that. Like you have a year's worth of expenses just sitting there, right? Like we have money, your bills are being paid, but because you don't have that consistent paycheck, that's where I was really suffering. And I was like, I just, this is too difficult. So it was a really interesting experience. It was very strange. I had to go through a lot. Yeah, I had a lot of mind drama over it, to be honest. So that's why I wanted to do that video as well, because especially if you're, you know, either thinking about taking a career break, or maybe you're quitting your job to find another job, and you decide, actually I want to quit my job and like take a break first, or do something like that, or even taking like a sabbatical. I think there are some key lessons that people don't necessarily talk about. And so I thought it was important for me to do that video. So make sure you check it out. It is on my channel. But like, yeah, in terms of my mental health, like I really did struggle during that time. And I had no idea why. It was, yeah, it was a really interesting experience. Like obviously now I am going back to work, but it's, to be honest, it's mainly because of the fact that, actually, I will talk about that later, because someone asked me a question about that. So hold on to that thought, and let me and actually I may as well answer the next question. So the next question was, which is kind of linked to this one, is any plans to buy a house? So if you've like been following me for a while, or like maybe you saw my what was it, like my financial goals videos, like, guys, there was no plan for us. There wasn't an initial plan for us to buy a house yet. So initially we were thinking probably the year after next year. Like that was probably going to be the goal. However, throughout this year, myself and Yinka, my husband, were talking, and we were thinking about our life goals. And you know, like life stuff also happens. And so he was actually really keen for us to think about buying somewhere next year. So that meant that our whole plans kind of shifted, and we were like, and I was like, okay, if we're going to buy a house, it's a lot easier for us to buy it if I'm employed, because when you're buying a house, they will look at your affordability checks. But if you haven't been working, and let's say even if you have like a business or something, because obviously I still do like YouTube and coaching and stuff, they will look at your past 2 years um of your income, essentially, in your profit. Whereas like 2 years ago is literally when I just started the channel, so obviously I didn't make much, so they wouldn't be able to give us like a big enough mortgage if I was still like at the same position that I was a few months ago. And so because of that, I was like, well, that means that I have to go back into employment, because otherwise, if we need to get a house if we're trying to get a house next year, it's not going to work with them just looking at my past 2 years of income from my business. So it meant that things like our goals basically changed and our goals shifted. And so it was like, okay, like, well, now that I've taken 6 months off, it's either that, because I actually originally I would have liked to have a whole year off, to be honest. Like that's what I was originally planning. Like it was going to be at least a year, and then after a year, my original plan wasn't even to go back into full-time work. My original plan was to just get like part-time work, just to have like some money on the side, just to, get some money on the side whilst you're still building your business. That was the original plan. But no, because of the way our life goals changed, it meant that our financial goals changed, and so it meant that I had to then adapt and start thinking about going into full-time work. I'm currently like doing a temporary contract at the moment, so the question is whether I just have to figure out whether it's probably more wise for me to go into a permanent position after the summer and find a permanent position, just so we can make sure that like we get the mortgage. And obviously, because of the way the economy is, it's probably easier. It's probably like I wouldn't be surprised if like lenders are going to be scrutinizing people a lot more for trying to get a mortgage and stuff like that. So I probably will end up trying to find something permanent. But in an ideal world, I literally would have just got a part-time role. Like that was the plan. I would have taken a whole year not doing anything, and then just got a part-time role. That would have been amazing. But things change, so you've got to learn how to adapt. Yeah, buying a house is such a pipe dream. Yeah, it's really it's a huge commitment. And I think like if you're planning to, because obviously I'm not a first time buyer as well, so we don't have that privilege. So we also had to have that conversation, because I'm not a first time buyer, and because Yinka married me, he's technically not a first time buyer anymore. And so we also had to have that extra decision, because I currently do still have a primary residence, like my name is still on that mortgage. And so we had to also talk to like a mortgage broker as well, in terms of how we can deal with that. It's a whole load of faff that was going on. And so that's why like it's even more important for me to actually be employed, because if they see that I'm moving out of that house, they're going to be like, well, how can you afford to buy a new place? So there's a lot of stuff that goes into buying a house. But I'm hoping like when we really start to go into it, then I'll start filming some videos. I haven't seen the Sue Gray report, but I had heard some things, especially since the Chancellor made like he did the announcement in terms of like some of the things that they're going to be that they're now going to be doing, especially because of the energy bills crisis and all of that stuff. Like, yeah, it's honestly, it's with that, I'd say it's a mess. Like, our energy bills, and you'll see in our Tuesday video, I've got a budget update video, like our energy bills have gone up already, and probably will go up in October. Wouldn't be surprised if they go up in October. So yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting. But as I say, that's why now is probably the best, like now is the time to really be clear on your numbers, like really be clear on what's coming in, what's going out, because it's going to be so important, especially when we get into winter. Because I've been saying like winter is coming, because winter is coming, and you want to be prepared for it. But if you're in a position to also take advantage of it, now is probably the time to start getting ready for that. So I'm a little bit upset in the fact that we're focusing on buying a house where there may be opportunities to invest, but I'm like, oh, but we gotta buy a house first. So yeah, we've also got to have that conversation, because like I know that there'll probably be like investing opportunities, but we have to figure out what is a priority to us. But also thinking that, because mortgage rates have increased and, because things are getting more expensive, we may be able to negotiate, if we do end up buying somewhere. So we may be able to, take advantage of that. So hopefully, it's going to be going all right. Yeah, everything is going up apart from wages, which is a major problem, because usually what happens is usually when we do have high inflation, at least the economy is growing. So people's wages are going up. So people don't necessarily worry, like the economy is just expanding. Whereas this time we've got high inflation, but wages just aren't keeping up. And so that's where you may hear about the terms like stagflation, because that basically happens when you have all this high inflation, but your economy is weakening and wages just aren't keeping up. And that's where the problem comes in. So hopefully we don't get to that. But we'll see over the next few months. So what's been another question was, what's been the highlight of your 2 years on YouTube? So I think my highlight was probably the first live that I did, the first YouTube live that I did. Because I did not want to do it. I'd never done lives before, and I was really scared that maybe people won't join and like I would just be talking to myself. And so I was really scared. And I remember like it was other YouTubers, it was like Tolly Frimpong that I should subscribe to her as well. She does personal finance content, Finance D, and Yvonne Huduma, we've been doing, we did a collaboration for like International Women's Day. And so like we were encouraged to like go on YouTube live. And so it was my first time doing a live. And I remember there was just so many people, and it was absolutely amazing. And I was so nervous, but it was great. So I would definitely say that's probably my big highlight when it comes to YouTube. What's your favorite supermarket? So it will be between Aldi and Lidl. Right now, we don't have a Lidl near us. So I'd probably say that right now it is Aldi. But when I used to live in my old house, which is where I originally did my YouTube videos, it was Lidl, because like the Lidl was closest to me. I think I'm gearing towards Aldi though. I think I prefer Aldi. I think their fruits last longer. That's what I would say. Because I remember with Lidl, when I would go to Lidl, sometimes my fruit wouldn't last very long. Whereas I think it does last slightly longer with Aldi. So at the moment, I think I would have to say that my favorite supermarket is Aldi. But that may change. That may change. But but I do like Aldi. I haven't been to Aldi in years. Oh yes, I do. Like majority of shopping is in Aldi. If we can't go to Aldi, then we'll have to go Tesco. But majority of our shopping will be Aldi. And it's, for me, the reason why I like Aldi is because we can do a big shop, but it doesn't necessarily feel so expensive. Like we still get like a good week's worth, and we don't end up spending that much money, just because the prices are a lot lower, but the quality is still there. And that's what I really like, because I'm not going to buy things if they're really bad in quality and it's just not going to, it's just not going to last. But what I like with Aldi is that they have low prices, but with good quality as well. Like you guys have seen my video. I'm not here to be, I don't eat, like I like to eat good food, right? So because of that, I really like Aldi. I really enjoy going to Aldi because, they've got good food at good prices. So what's not to like? Sainsbury's is my main shop, as I have a loaded nectar card. Yeah, you're definitely like my sister. She swears by Sainsbury's. Absolutely swears by Sainsbury's. You will not catch her in Aldi. She's a hardcore Sainsbury's fan. So yeah, I think it just really depends on what you like, what you enjoy, what do you prefer? But for me, I absolutely love Aldi. But if there's Tesco, I find Tesco okay, but yeah, I find Tesco okay. It's not my most favorite store, but it's the one that's closest to us. It's within walking distance. But it's okay. You know, if we don't find anything in Aldi, we'll go to Tesco. So yeah. What has been the biggest thing and your mind? What has been the biggest thing about your mindset? I think you mean has changed over the years of doing YouTube. I think someone asked a similar question actually. So I might put this all into one. Yeah, because someone asked, what is the difference between you before creating the channel and 2 years later? So answer this one first, and I'll answer this one. So the biggest thing. Oh, good question about my mindset that's changed over the years. I actually think the biggest thing is that you don't need a lot of subscribers to build a community. I think that was probably the biggest thing because, especially when I even set my goal, like when I set my original goal of like 25,000 subscribers, I did that because I felt like you would need that, like that many people at minimum for you to have a community, or for you to like, like be able to talk to people live and stuff. But I found that for me personally, I don't think you need like a lot of subscribers to do that. And so I think that's what's been different. And I think that's why, like, sometimes you may see that a lot of influencers will do a lot of new videos, or like videos to attract more people. But what I've realized is some of those videos can be good because you want people to, like, you want new people to, see your content. But also, I think you have to be careful that you don't leave the people that are loyal to your channel as well. And so that's why I still do dedicated videos about, sharing my budget and like sharing my passive income report, so that you guys can see my journey as well. Because it's all well and good, like, you kind of seeing new videos, but once you're a subscriber, you also want to see, a bit of variety, and you want to see a bit of change as well. So I think for me, it's probably the biggest thing that I've heard, yeah, that I've learned, especially in terms of my mindset. And the difference between me before I created the channel and 2 years later, is that I'm a lot more confident. I don't have that imposter syndrome anymore. Like, I think now, whenever I do videos, I'm doing it from my experience. So I know what I'm talking about because it's my experience. So I don't feel like, oh, should I be talking about this anymore? Which I used to, because I was like, oh, like, should I be talking about this? But for example, if I'm going to talk about budgeting, it's because I know about budgeting. Or if I'm going to talk about, preparing for a recession, it's because I'm doing the exact same thing. Like, this is what I'm doing. Like, that's why I even, title in my videos, like, this is what I'm doing with my money during a recession. Here's some things that can also help you. So for me, I think confidence has been a massive thing for me, because now I'm not afraid, especially, as women as well. In the finance space, there's not a lot of women in that space, right? So that's why sometimes you might get haters comments telling you to stick to makeup videos instead. So for me, that 2 years ago, I probably would have cried and been like, oh my gosh, someone said that. And now I'm just like, you've convinced me to do more videos. Like, this is why I'm in this space. This is why I'm on, like, this is why I do this channel. So yeah, it's been an interesting 2 years. Like, you'd be surprised at how much you grow. I sometimes will look at my old videos. I haven't actually in a long time, but like, seeing the bad editing and the lack of confidence was very clear. But you obviously, you have to take that step into the direction for you to actually, get better. And so I'm glad that I decided to just firm it, and I just decided I'm going to start my YouTube channel. Yeah, autocorrect. Yeah. Tesco only has offers if you have a club card now, which is a shame. Yeah, I mean, we do have a club card, so that's good. So sometimes we will see the offers. But yeah, majority of our shop though, we'll do it in Aldi. We'll do it in Aldi first. And then the only other question, which is so funny about asking about a family, but that was my husband who'd actually asked me that on Instagram. So I think he was joking when he did that. But yeah, I think in terms of anything else that you guys want to know, in terms of, I think, what's going to be happening for us in the next few months, we are also traveling as well. We are going on holiday. We have got 2 trips. We've got our honeymoon, which is later in the year. And then we've also got another trip later on in the year, which I'm very excited about because I have not been on holiday for about 4 years. Because I didn't go on holiday whilst I was paying off my debt. I didn't go abroad whilst I was paying off my debt, I should say. And then obviously we went into the pandemic, and we were supposed to go on the honeymoon probably this time next week, and then it got cancelled, so we had to move it to later on in the year. So I'm very excited to be going on our trips. It's been a very, very long time, but I'm sure it'll be worth the wait. So I'm looking forward to it. So what I'm planning, basically budgeting wise, the plan, I may as well just spill the tea, but the plan is for at least during the summer to make sure that we have like enough money for the holiday, and that's all done and dusted. And then literally after the summer, by the time probably gets to September, it's literally just going to be house. Like, we'd been investing quite a lot, I would say, in the first 6 months. So like, we were either, like, personally, I was investing a lot in my business, or I was like investing in things like coaching. So that took a lot of money. And then also we were investing in like my husband's stocks and shares ISA. So that's how we invest in the stock market. So we did that the first 6 months. Now the next 6 months is going to be focusing on the house. So we really need to, like, after the summer, after the holidays are like all paid and stuff, we're literally just going to be like house stuff that needs to get done. So I'm hoping this can, like, you guys can also see that it doesn't have to be an either or for the year. So for example, in our case, like, we invested throughout the first half of the year, then we saved for a holiday, and now we're going to be saving up for a house. And so you can still do things. It doesn't have to be either or. But just having a really good plan will help you, because we know exactly how much we're going to be putting towards like holidays, how much we're going to be putting towards savings as well. So yeah, I'm very, very excited. Yeah, B word, budget. Yeah. So we like definitely have budget. Bora Bora is calling you. It's calling. So not Bora Bora yet. We are going to Dominican Republic. I'm very excited. You guys don't think I spend money when it comes to holidays. We're going on a 7-day all-inclusive trip. I wasn't playing. I was not playing. But it's the importance of also, you can still spend your money and you can save at the same time. Like, you can do both. So yeah, I'm very excited because I'm like, it's been 4 years. I was definitely going to treat myself, especially because the time that I wanted to treat myself, we were in lockdown. So it's like pent up demand for the past couple of years. So I'm really excited. But yeah, then after September, we'll definitely be saving up for a house. In terms of what we're looking for, we are deciding between buying a house or flat. The reason being is because this isn't going to be our forever home. Like, we already know that. So we are thinking a flat might be better, just because we might be able to, it's a lot cheaper compared to houses, especially now because houses are very in demand at the moment. But also we're just thinking, can we rent it out, particularly, if we end up moving out? So I've also, started to think about, okay, if we're going to rent it out, how much will it be? What's the maximum we should be paying if we do buy a flat? That's also, maybe I'll do a video on that actually as well, like after we go through our house, the house or flat buying process. But like, I'm also thinking about, if we're going to rent it out, how much could we rent it out for? Could we still end up making a profit and things like that? So would it be a worthwhile investment, essentially? So that's also something that we are currently thinking about. But yeah, it's going to be, it may be a little bit difficult in winter, depending on how energy prices change. I think that's the only thing that I'm mindful of. But we'll see. I mean, we've got like the whole of next year to get it sorted, hopefully. Yeah, we'll see. But I'm looking forward to the journey. I think it's going to be a stressful journey, but I'm hoping it will at least be okay. The first house that I bought with my mom, it was a bit stressful, but it wasn't unbearable. But although it was a bit easier because we were already living in the house, and so we just bought the house we were already living in. So that was a little bit easier. This is going to be like starting from scratch, like having to go to viewings and making offers and things like that. So yeah, we'll see. But anyway, any other questions before I head off? Could you do a video on pensions? Not enough people our age speak about them. Yeah, I mean, I think with pensions, it's always an interesting one. The only reason why I've never done a full-on pension video before is because I'm not a financial advisor, and so it can be difficult to really, you always have to be careful with videos like that. But what I have planned, I've been meaning to do it. I've been putting this off for so long, and I really need to do it. But what I'm hoping to do is just do a video about me consolidating my pensions, because I started doing that when I stopped working, but things change and I have to do a whole load of paperwork. So because I'm stuck going through the paperwork, I have to change. So I'm hoping like I'll do more of a video about my journey with pensions, and then hopefully that'll be a bit easier rather than me kind of giving advice about pensions. So that will definitely be in the cards. May have to try and get this house stuff first sorted, and then hopefully after that I can get my pension stuff and all of that sorted. But yeah, any other questions before I go? Because I'm gonna go and make some chickpea curry soon. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. Hope you guys had a nice Sunday as well. Like the sun is still out there, which is nice. Quick question on life insurance. Not sure if I need it. I don't have a house or dependents, not married yet. It feels like I might be wasting my money. Yeah, I would maybe say contact an advisor, because I like, people always say different things for different people. So some people will say that, you may not need it if you don't have house or dependents. I I have life insurance, but my husband doesn't. The only reason why I have life insurance is because I have a mortgage. If I didn't, it would probably be when we bought a house, or when we had dependents. So some people may say that you may not need it. Some people may say that the younger you are, the cheaper it is. So it's probably really gonna depend on like your own personal circumstances, and depend on what you're going to be doing going forwards, especially if you're like planning to buy a house or anything like that. So hopefully that was helpful. But if that's it, I'm gonna leave you guys to it. I know it's been so long. I know I didn't do a live last month just because last month I wasn't in the best place. I was not in the best place. I didn't even have a video up last month. But I'm really hoping that I can get back to these lives, because yeah, it's been great. It's been great chatting to you guys. So yeah, without further ado, I will leave you to it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please, 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 if you could like this video, if you have watched this, it really helps my channel. It really does help and support it. And if you ever need help with finances, I do offer coaching as well. You can check the description. But yeah, thank you guys so much. It's been 2 years, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have another 2 years and we can catch up again. But I hope you all enjoy your Sunday, and we will speak soon. Bye.